are live right now, and here I am with like the legendary Julianne Lee, like my BFF. She's also, by the way, for everyone that's tuning in, hello everybody, and welcome to this incredible free online event that Julie Lee and her incredible team of admins have put together for everybody. The Stress, Pets, and Us event, the science of nature. I am so excited to be here, and I'm excited for all of you to be joining in. It is midnight right now where me and Julie, I think it's like 2 a.m. Is it not, Julie?
Oh my God.
But we are like super excited to kick this off. It's going to be an incredible weekend. There is, like, you guys put together an incredible host of the most
There's
brilliant
someone from
minds.
Paris. Even if she's up and from France, then you can't complain. Singapore.
I truth be told, I did have a talent tantrum, and I did reach out to like the higher ups and said I wouldn't do this, and then you guys threw so much money at me I couldn't say no anymore. But it is I feel like it's midnight here, but it's okay. I'm in my pajamas, by the way, which is fine as long as you're okay with me being. You didn't even comment about that, but thank you again for everybody who's tuning in. Jules, can you just tell us a little bit about, where the inspiration for this event came? Because I know there's a lot of people right now that are tuning in and they see all these incredible speakers, and and they're pumped and they're excited. But when you and I talked about this, when you said to me, you want to put this event, I mean, you gave me goosebumps, and I want you to share that with everybody that's out there.
Oh boy. It's such an emotional thing for me, right? Because I think if I could just pare it down to one word, why I'm doing it, it's love. And this all came about right in the really, really tense part of COVID. And I before I even say anything more, I really, really want to thank you for doing this with me, because I feel like when I reached out to you, I was in a really kind of dark place because my mom had just died. And my mom was everything to me, right? She was my mentor, everything. And I wasn't allowed to go home because of COVID, so I couldn't be with my mom. And I felt like something broke. Like I felt so alone. I felt like I didn't even know what to do. And my boyfriend built a cross for me over where I have my horses buried. And I went over, and it's like I thought to myself, I feel like I'm suffering, and I feel like the whole world's suffering. So I felt really alone, but then there was part of me that felt like there was so much sadness going on, and so much suffering on people losing their
Right.
jobs, people losing family, people terrified, alone, and isolated. And I just thought, like, I don't know what to do. And I thought, okay, what would my mom do? And I instantly just felt like I wanted to try and help everybody. I wanted to just have this like massive virtual hug. My mom would have like brought everybody in and made them fried chicken and had them hanging out on our farm.
Right.
And I thought,
Right.
I want to try and give back to people that have supported me. How can I do that? So I just thought, we have this incredible community, and the first people I asked were you and Karen. And it was like this instant thing. Like, you guys didn't even think about it when I said, like, I just feel like we need to give back to the community. And it just snowballed. I started asking people, and because I'm I'm really into energy, I thought, this can't be wrong. I mean, I'm overwhelmed even thinking about the
Yeah.
response that we got. Everybody wanted to help. Everybody. It was like, tell us where do we need to be? Where do we, what do you want us to talk about? No one's charging anything. All volunteer. Everybody just showed up. And it's like, if our community, if our pet community could actually feel the love behind this event, I feel like it just could catapult so much.
Well,
It's
in the
incredible.
world, in the world, right? I feel like the world needs that right now, right? I mean, these are troubling times. There's no question, and globally, these are troubling times. and and our pets are within our ecosystem, and so our fur kids, like my fur kids, are within that bubble, right? And what a better way than to reach out to all the people, because I too myself, like I was getting like so many different experts and friends from around the world that were like, man, how, like, this sounds like so incredible. How can we be part of this? And or what can we do, or how can we give back to to what's happening right now, and help give input on just how to make the ecosystem around pets better. You have a title that you put here. Can you tell me a little bit about like where the inspiration for the title that you came up for the event, Stronger Together?
Stronger Together. Well, because I was thinking like I wanted to help, and then our holistic community is small, right? It for people that are in the holistic already in there, it doesn't
Right.
seem that small, but it is. And I just feel like we all have to be together. We all have to support each other. Like the majority of people on this thing, we're all basically competitors with one another. And it's like that just left. Like there's like the competition and anything like that. It just
Right.
disappeared. So it's just like we're all stronger together. We can get through this and even get farther ahead if we do it together.
And you know what? And that's like, I mean, well said, right? What did they say? They say, go further together, or get there in a shorter distance by yourself, right? I mean, it's having that conglomerate of like-minded people, of that community of people, that I feel that it is probably the best way to share information and share experiences. And I'm just like looking in the comment section, I'm trying not to creep in the bottom, and I'm seeing like Mexico, I'm seeing France, I'm seeing Russia, I'm seeing all these people from all over Miami, all these people from all over the world, which is, it's very exciting. Jules, what do you hope? Like, what is like the big achievement for you from this? What are you hoping that people at the end of this event tomorrow, when it's all said and done, what do you hope the accomplishment is from this event? What people are going to take and how they're going to implement those, the things that they learned with their fur babies?
Well, I feel like from my perspective, it's morphing into something much bigger. And I'm letting the energy go where it needs to go, because I really truly believe that's what has to happen. And Rodney, you know me, when we talk about fur babies, everything's my fur baby. Like whales and
Yeah.
seals, ducks, and like there is no segregation amongst what's a fur baby to me and what isn't. And it's always been like that. And I feel like we all, for me, it's that we come out of this feeling all stronger together, including people that are watching, and that we have a different appreciation for each other, for what we can give our planet. Because to me, the animals on our planet are equally as important as the animals that live in my bed. And I feel like I just want to open people's hearts. That's what I want to do. I want to open people's hearts, and I swear to God, I mean this. I really feel we can come out of COVID stronger. I feel we can come out of it in a different emotional place that's going to make us and this earth a better place. Not weakened, but with more resilience and more love and more compassion. And I really think that this event is the beginning of that, of just opening up and looking at us as a global community of furry and not furry, and scaly and not scaly,
Well, there's like such an incredible lineup of doctors here. Like I got a list, and industry experts and researchers and scientists and science junkies. Like it's just such an herbalists, like such an incredible list here that I have in front of me. And I know a lot of these people are going to be bringing like a lot of science and a lot of knowledge all weekend, or I should say all day tomorrow, for people. Let's talk a little bit about these like some of these incredible people, and then how this lineup is going to look for tomorrow. Because I know a lot of the questions are people like, okay, now this is kind of broken into segments, and I'm not sure how these segments go. So let's just give people a little bit of a rundown tomorrow on how some of these segments look. I see Newfoundland, fellow Canadians. Hello to my fellow Canadians. Somebody from Singapore also. Shout out. So cool. Okay, so right on the very top, right, and this is in no specific order. I just printed it like right off the website, so in no specific order. Right on the very top, I do have my homie here, Dr. Karen Becker, who is going to be in this conference. We have Dr. Karl Safina, Dr. Sue Armstrong, Dr. Ian Billinghurst, the father of raw food. Man, I can't tell you how much I groupied over that man in Australia. What an incredible human being. Milena DeMartini, we got an article here. We're going to talk about her. Dr. Isla Fishburne, man, I got nothing but mad props for Isla. Her and I were going back and forth today. Deb Gwynn, the herbalist, Billy Hookman, Dr. Gene Hofi, Rita Hogan, Dr. Judy Morgan, Charlie and Larry from
Dubai.
All the way in Dubai, man. Like they were here in the craziest. I love those guys from Rostock. I got like so many stories about those guys. Dr. Rochelle Wilcox. Okay, so we've got all of these incredible researchers and doctors that are coming, and then you have these things segregated for tomorrow. So for everybody that's watching right now, we're just going to give you a quick layout of how this is going to look. So Julie, tell me a little bit about this. So tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, you have a kickoff that's happening here. Tell me like quickly about this, what you're thinking here.
It's just going to be a little bit about, how it's broken up and how we really wanted to achieve, rather than like the big slideshows and sort of that disconnection. I wanted to make it sort of like a fireside chat. I wanted people to feel like they were incorporated. We've taken people's questions. I really wanted to feel like it was a connection, and every panel, we're talking about peoples and animals, because you can't differentiate. If people are stressed, your animals are stressed. If your animals are stressed, we're stressed. How do we divide that? We can't divide it. So every panel has an expert on it for people and animals, so that we can really, really try to get it together. So we're just going to go over some housekeeping stuff.
Okay, so tomorrow, right after we do the kickoff, we start right away with nutrition and stress. Look at the lineup there, man, of people that you got going. So tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, there is like, you got your powerhouse, Dr. Karen Becker, yourself, Dr. Judy Morgan, Dr. Billinghurst, Dr. Wilcox, Billy, my man, who, no one knows this, but just on a side note for Billy, everybody who's watching during the conference, Billy has like a nickname, and only Billy and I know about the nickname. And I don't know if he was sworn to never share it, but Billy from this point going forward for the entire conference would like to be addressed as Shark. Don't ask me why. Ask Billy why he wants to be addressed as that. He will tell you, I'm sure, tomorrow during the conference. But talk to me a little bit about this, Jules. What are we going to see here in the nutrition and stress roundtable tomorrow?
Well, we've taken questions. So every single person that registered was allowed to ask one question that related to stress and to nutrition. So we fielded the questions, we kind of pushed them all together, and basically it's this sort of free for all, like we are sitting around just talking to each other, and we're going to be answering questions and giving tips on how do we personally eat well that will help to decrease stress, and how do we feed our animals the same way.
That's awesome. And is there going to be like talk of like supplementation and things like that? Are you going to be bringing that up, like things that people that want to add into like their bowls?
Yeah, people are asking, all kinds of stuff. There's all really cool questions.
All right, and then immediately after that tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 12:30, we have a behavioral health panel. So what's happening here? I see Dr. Isla Fishburne and Dr. Milena DeMartini here.
Well, you can speak to Dr. Martini or because did you want to mention that, what you were going to say about her?
I do. Yeah. I was, what we were talking about here for people that didn't, right before the segment, before we went live, Julie and I were talking about an article that was released in the New York Post. And this is a major concern for people around the world. So there's three big concerns right now globally when it comes to the coronavirus. And that's, of course, pertaining to our pets. And that has nothing to do with them, whether they can be infected or not infected by corona. Just in the overall ecosystem, what are the ramifications of what's going to happen? And the number one stress concern right now, and this one is like making a lot of headlines around the world, as you can see it here. Dogs could get extreme separation anxiety when quarantine ends, experts say. Now, we were doing a lot of podcasting lately with some experts from around the world, and what we found, Julie, was that a lot of these shelters across the United States and globally around the world, a lot of them have been emptied out. I mean, one of the blessings from what's going on right now is that people are home. They have the time to, give some love and share some love with pets. And so these people are going out, they're adopting. Some of these shelters are like literally like bone empty. I know there's a couple, we interviewed Dr. Alexandra Horowitz, who was telling us, that one of her shelters locally in New York City, empty, no pets. And because of this, which is incredible, these pets come into your home, and they have this brand new life that you're giving them. And literally, they're with you 24/7. And they're with the kids 24/7, right? And, these pets are like, oh my God, this is the greatest place of all time. Even like Shubi, like, who's beside me here, she's like, man, Dad's like not traveling. He's here all the time. And we're seeing this globally around the world. And then this is going to end.
And that's
right?
Specifically what she's going to talk about tomorrow. There's
going to be some incredible tips, because of course these experts are saying, how is this? So the article right here references, of course, the separation anxiety specialist Milena Martini gives advice. Now this is crazy. I didn't realize this from the stats. So right now they say approximately in the United States, anywhere between 20 to 40% of dogs are diagnosed with separation anxiety. And so this is like, they feel like this is going to be sort of like the steroid effect right now when people go to leave. So what dog experts are saying right now is that acclimating pooches to separate prior to the end of lockdown, preparing people at home to, hey man, you might want to start doing these things, because at some point you might have to resume, you might have to go back to work, and you don't know what type of problems you're going to see. So I'm super excited about this tomorrow, because there's going to be a lot of tips, and you know what, I'm gonna need those tips myself. If when the airports open back up and we got to start traveling and collecting data. So this, and as you were saying, as we're referencing this event, these two articles go hand in hand. So I'm excited for that one. Now these guys, my two awesome homies from Dubai, the Ross Struck. I'm raw struck. I'm raw struck half of the time by these two, Larry and Charlie. These guys flew all the way from Dubai. They came to the Creators Lounge here. We had an incredible day with these guys. We were eating croissants, stuffing our faces, mind jamming about health. They shared an incredible recipe from their Mediterranean recipe. If you guys don't know who these guys are, I mean, they are the two hardest working content creators just trying to share information to inspire people. What do we got? What are we going to see here, Julie, with tomorrow? And this one's going to be around 12:30 p.m.
It's going to be hilarious. They're teaching, that's why it's called Don't Break the Bank. They're teaching people how to dehydrate their own treats at home to save money. So, there's a lot of people worried about finances and stuff right now. So they're like, wow, we really don't want to decrease our dog's treats and our cat's treats. So we're just going to show you guys how to make your own treats.
That's awesome. So there you go. So
it's up to them. I said, what do you want to do? They're like, this is what we want to do. I'm like, go for it. That's awesome.
And that's awesome. I mean, and that's their superpower. I mean, these guys, I watch them, they come in with extreme energy at all times. And by extreme, I mean extreme awesome energy at all times. Oh. They're moving, they're dancing. They're two of the most positive, you see them in real life and they're exactly what they are like on screen. They just have nothing but incredible energy. They're nothing but two incredible humans, and all they want to do is help. And they're on another part of the world, in Dubai and Saudi Arabia, where I lived out that way, and I can tell you that culture is different down there. The dog culture is different down there. And now you have these two people that are trying to sort of educate, talk about fresh, raw, whole life feeding to an entire different culture, which, man, I take off my hat to those two, because I mean, I don't know if I could do it. So I'm excited to see their DIY tomorrow. And then now we have like some incredible herbalists: Dr. Karen Becker, Rita Hogan, Dr. Wilcox, and Deb Gwynn. I mean, Deb's a rock. Every time I see Deb at Global or Super Zoo, she's like an incredible resource. But now you put these four incredible teachers together, and we have tomorrow at 1 p.m. herbs and adaptogens for stress management. So what's this going to look like tomorrow, Jules?
Well, they're really adaptogens are incredibly powerful, super, super important. We're learning more and more and more about their ability to help us handle stress and you know, create healthier cells within our bodies and get all of our roadmaps sort of back to normal. So these really are some of the best people to talk about adaptogens and herbs. And it's going to literally, everything is about stress. This whole entire event is about stress relief, because we know how much stress affects us physically and emotionally, and our animals and the planet. The planet's stressed all the time. So it's how do we relieve stress, for sure, around COVID, but then continue with it, because stress is an underlying sort of insidious issue all the time, like all the time.
It's interesting, you know, and I be preaching this a million times, and of course, anybody that's, you know, ever listened to anything that I've ever, you know, anything useful that I've ever said, we've always talked about traveling to where we went to Travel Daily, Dr. Becker and myself. There was that study that it was on nature.com. It broke the internet. It was one of the most popular studies for like the first half of 2018. And that was the study that not only could your dogs smell your stress. So if you woke up in the morning and you had a blow up fight with your spouse, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you were over it, or if you went to work and you've got in an argument with your boss in the workplace, but you're over it, and hours, whatever the situation may be, you go to yoga class and somebody stole your yoga mat and you're pissed and but you're over it. You think you're over it until you come home. And these scientists wanted to see if you had a stressful day, if you had a stressful event that had happened, even though you think you're over it, your body secretes chemicals, releases chemicals into your clothing that come from your stress chemicals. And when your dogs come home, like literally in that 3-second encounter, they smell you. And Jules, you're very familiar with this study. Within seconds, they adapt to that stress and they start blowing out cortisol and they become stressed themselves, right? And this exploded all over the internet because people are like, oh my God, my dog can smell stress from early on in the day and it can affect my dogs. And like the science community was all over this. And it's the same thing with happiness. Your dog, you secrete a different subset of chemicals, your dogs smell it and they do then become happy. So these households right now, so this is what's so awesome about these segments that are happening. You may not, you know, I don't want to say that people think that like they're lying to themselves. Like I'll say to me, like I may say to myself, I'm lying to myself. My dog sees me. I'm just going to pretend I'm happy. Like Shubi will never know, right? She will never know. I'll just fake a smile. I'll go to the treats. Like, and every time Becker sees me going to the treats, she wants to punch me, but I'll like go to the treats. I'll like bring out a treat here. Let's be happy. Let's be happy. And it's fascinating. Like, she can smell me within seconds and she just knows. You could just see her analyzing my entire day. And so it is so important right now that, you know, you try to keep your ecosystem healthy. So this is awesome. And so for people that have no idea, yes, your animals can smell the way you're feeling. And within seconds, they can adapt to that. They can start blowing out glycogen from their liver, elevating their blood sugars, elevating insulin release, creating an inflammatory response, which ultimately over time, that is, you know, you hit that metabolic cliff a lot faster and that you start deteriorating that age. And when, you know, you're hoping for the healthiest, longest lifespan ever, and you're doing all of these great foods and all of these great supplements, you are ruining it on the back end because of your unknowing your attitude. So what a better way to clean up your attitude than for your dogs, right?
I think that's what dogs and animals teach us. because I feel like people will do more for their animals than they will for themselves to stay in the story or whatever. But when we actually go, wow, it's going to affect my dog or my children, like it's going to affect them. Kind of like we do a double take, right? We kind of stand back and go, really? Okay, well, it's almost like we heal each other. I really do believe that. So Dr. Isla Fishburne is going to talk about what you're just talking about how our stress DNA actually stays on our animals, and it's fascinating. Fascinating.
You know,
It's just
it's interesting if you've ever seen that person who becomes extremely insulted. This is a tip for a lot of people. You'll sometimes see that, like, that ultimate dog lover, and like they come to your house for the first time to meet your dog and they're like, oh, I got this, your dog's gonna love me. But they had like a super terrible day and they were like churning out so many stress hormones and just releasing those chemicals into their clothing. And then they come up and there's that meeting with your cat or with your dog, and they walk up to them and they're like, no, thank you. And they go the other way. And that person is like devastated because they're a dog person. Like, oh my God, what's happening right now, right? Scientists will tell you. When we were talking to Dr. Biagio Daniello, he's like, man, you better take a shower if you had a lousy day before you go out to meet that person, maybe for the first time, and you want to put off that good impression with their pets. Shower, wash off that stress. Okay, so then following that, the herbs and adaptogens, we have energy medicine for stress. Now here we have two incredible doctors, Dr. Jean Hoffe, Dr. Sue Armstrong. There's feline stress relief and flower essence and homeopathy for you and your pets. So tell me a little bit about these two.
This will be really good too, because Sue is going to actually give super tangible, because homeopathy is a whole different kettle of fish, right? So she's literally going to give us a presentation of what kind of homeopathic remedies to use for dogs and cats and people. So let's say you're feeling trapped or you're feeling scared or you're feeling like specific feelings, like what remedies to use for specific feelings for us. So if we're really frustrated around COVID, or we're terrified about money, or we're in massive grief or whatever, she's going to be really, really specific. She's going to show us how our animals might show that and what remedies we can give to our animals. And then Dr. Huff is going to do something just for cats, which is just amazing, because I was so thrilled when she said yes, because I feel like cats just don't get enough attention and they're very misunderstood, right? They are. Like people just sometimes, we think we get cats, but I don't feel like a lot of people do. And so she's going to give us some really incredible, helpful tips and specific flower essence remedies. So,
well, there's many people that are going to want to kiss you on the mouth for that, like my homies Jay and Adrian, the crazy cat ladies. I see them in the comment section, Noor and all of these, and there's Poppy and all of these incredible, my Facebook homies that are in there. Like, finally, you know, I get so much heat for not enough info on cats. I swear to God, if these people could see, I get up every morning at 4:30 in the morning and I scour journals. There's just no studies. There's such a lack of studies for felines. It's scary, right? And then of course, when you're sharing information, so many scientists and people are watching, and they'll eat you if you go in with no study and you start like hypothetically making, you know, you got to go in like with factual things. But I'm so excited because I know that a lot of these people, I mean, this is their life, like kitties, man. Like they've delved in the research. They have old research. They have also, you know, what they've done in the field of practice, so they know, you know, what's going to work. And I'm super excited, as you said, that there's cats here, Jules. Like, I think the cat people of the world are already like blowing you kisses all over the world doing this.
We even have a horse section. So Deb Gwynn is going to specialize for horses. Because you know that horses right now with isolation, do you know how many people couldn't go visit their horse? They weren't allowed to even go see their horse.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, their horses just like, where'd my family go? They weren't allowed to go to boarding stables or anything, right? They just couldn't go see their horse.
There you go, man. Yeah, absolutely. So for all of you around the world that's watching, we've got horses covered too. That is awesome. I mean, and I know that there's a lot of firepower here, and there's a lot of people. So people can ask questions, you said, right? So they can, you know, Yeah, so it's okay. Awesome. Now this one, this one, Julie,
Yes.
is very special to Julie, and you're going to have to give us an explanation here. So this one is called Positive Environment and Positive Environmental Impacts and Beyond. And this is kind of like, it's not the closing ceremony, but like this is like the one that's coming up in the very end at 3:30 p.m. And you are very excited to have Dr. Karl Safina. First of all, give us a little bit of highlight, because he's an ecologist, for people that are watching. Tell us about this incredible man that you've been just talking about for the last 2 weeks. Every conversation that we've ever had, it's been about how incredible this human is. So tell us what's happening here.
Well, I think Jane Goodall and Karl Safina have been my idols for a long, long, long time. And again, like I said, I just feel like I could start to cry. We reached out to him to say, like, would you possibly give me like 5 quotes that I could have in this environmental keynote lecture that I'm doing? And then we got actually an email from his agent saying he'd like to talk to us, and he just thought what we were doing is amazing and offered to actually be part of it. And I'm terrified to do it with them, because to me, he's like the steward of environment. Rodney, he's like one of the most brilliant men I've ever met in my whole life. His book that we're going to take passages from, I'm going to say this, but I believe that it should be required reading in school. Like what he has to teach. Like when I wrote a blog about the silver lining of COVID, and about how, just in 2 weeks time, the sea turtles, endangered sea turtles to almost the extinction, laid 70,000 eggs on a beach, just because they had 2 weeks of privacy to be able to do that. And the pollution rates dropping. And like, I believe personally, I believe in my heart that we have seen empirically unprecedented scientific proof that we can make a difference in this world. And we wouldn't have had that chance if we didn't go into lockdown. So we have a chance now to step back and go, are we going to look at this? Because we have this window of opportunity to make a massive change for ourselves, our pets, our animals, our grandkids, our world, our earth. And we can make it. And all these scientists say, oh, well, we would never know if this would happen. Well, guess what? Now we know, because we actually saw it. So I was going to talk about the silver lining and all the amazing things that nature's trying to teach us. And I reached out to him to say, like, could you just give me some quotes? And he's going to be part of it. And I think he's one of the most incredible storytellers I've ever experienced in my life. His books are incredible. And he's actually going to be part of this. And I feel like it's just going to tie everything together, because, like, I really believe we're all in this together. Like, if it wasn't for this earth, none of us would be here, right? If it wasn't for nature. Rodney, look at all the people that are on those panels. We all empirically use nature to heal. We're looking at all of these amazing things, everything you're putting into your dog's body, all of our species-oriented food, everything we're looking at trying to be more natural, right? So if it wasn't for nature, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't even have this event. So I really feel, for me, we need to really pay attention to this for all of us. So I'm pretty excited.
Well said. Well, you know what? I'm very excited to see Dr. Karl speak tomorrow. I know you spoke very highly, and I do got to get a hold of one of his books and start reading his books. And then tomorrow, the closing ceremony happens at 4:30 with Professor Newt's Dr. Isla Fishburne.
I've got goosebumps.
Tell me how this closing ceremony. I got to tell you, Isla is one of the most incredible humans I've ever met. Believe it or not, and I don't know if it was her first one, and I could be misquoting her, Nyla. You can correct me tomorrow on this, but just go with it. Go with my fabricated lie if I got it wrong. Her very first, I don't, it was either very first or one of her very first lectures. And it was my very first lecture in the United Kingdom. And we were both there together. And I remember watching her on stage, and, you know, she's had viral videos about her on the internet. Like, I've seen this woman in viral videos on the internet, but I had no idea it was her. I didn't put those two together. You know, this woman like basically lived with wolves, was watching what wolves were eating. I remember like right during those early times, like there was all that controversy on whether you could feed animals vegetables or not. And here comes Dr. Isla Fishburne, this PhD, gets on stage, breaks down like the dietary system of wolves and what they were foraging on, and just the way she talked and how captivating she was. And then so I just was like sitting there in awe, right? I was like, man, I really hope that I could just be like 1% of this human being, like when I go on stage, because the last thing you want to do is follow somebody, excuse me, who's incredible like that, because it's like, oh man, I'm just gonna bomb. Like this woman is going, she's just so awesome. And then again, I got to lecture with her in Scotland, and literally, man, she has the like I watched the room, and the energy shifts in the room when this woman talks. Like literally, she is a very, very captivating, inspirational human being. I've interviewed her on several occasions, and I mean, it's incredible that you picked her to close it. So tell me what you guys have planned here.
So again, she is exact. I just agree with everything that you're saying. And Isla's actually a shaman as well. So yeah, that's why her energy is like that. She is the most grounded, centered, heart of the earth human being that I have ever met. And you can't help but feel that. And so I just felt like I just said, would you do that? Would you bring, because a lot of people don't know that about her. She's a special, 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 special person. And I feel I wanted her to be able to bring everything together and just let us leave the event with something that is energetically shifts us, right? That we can all walk out and feel each other, like feel the thousands of people that are going to attend, feel everybody's hearts connected. Because I mean, if our dogs can feel, if I'm at work and I'm stressed and I pet my dog in the morning and he can feel my stress when I'm at work, you can believe we're all connected, right? We really are. And I really feel like Isla is a person to do that. Isla is a person to close this off and make us feel as connected. But
oh yeah,
no, what? Because I want to say.
No, I was going to say like, I was going to say like, it's you. The best way to even just, if you want to feel that energy that this woman gives off when she speaks, if you ever have the opportunity to go to, you know, one of her, when the world gets better and and people can start touring and lecturing, go to one of her lectures, like get into one of those seats and feel how that room connects together. I mean, she literally, like Lego pieces, her energy, she connects the entire room. And I could even show, I got footage of it, man. Like I remember pulling out my camera because everybody is just like on the edge of their seats, like listening to what she has to say. And she gives off this vibration when she speaks, and especially when she works with dogs. I mean, you see this woman on the ground, on dog level. She was doing zoopharmacognosy. I had no idea what zoopharmacognosy was at that time when she had to school me on that, right? So, anyways, I cut you off before you go, but you couldn't have picked anybody better to close it.
Thank you. But when you were saying, I really feel like what's so cool about this whole event is that every single person brings an individual component to this event. And when you always say, oh, this amazing person and this, you are like that, right? Like to me, you're like that. Like sometimes I want to slap you around because you drive me crazy, but in general, what I'm trying to like your heart is as big as your followers, and you feel it, right? People feel your heart.
Thank you.
And it's yes, you're a guru when it comes to all your stuff, Facebook stuff and whatever, but the bigger piece is that we all feel your heart. And I think that's what this event's about, is that we all have that individual piece that we're going to bring, because we want to make a difference.
It's it's interesting to get all different perspectives, and thank you. It's a huge honor when that comes from you. You've not only are my mentor, my BFF. You've been with me with my dogs in surgery, in the rooms with my dogs. I mean, you're many things to me, but I love where we are in this world where we all have a voice, because I don't know if years ago, my one of my biggest inspirations, of course, Susan Thixton, a pet parent, and that's all we are. We're just storytellers, pet parents who are storytellers, and we connect and we resonate with our fellow pet parents all around the world. And we look up to healers like you guys, because we ultimately, all of us, and I don't, and I humbly speak on behalf of all the pet parents that are there, we all want our dogs to live and our cats to live forever and our horses to live forever. That is the ultimate goal for all of us, right? And that's what drives us and what pushes us. And what's so incredible about all these humans, that they just all volunteered. Everyone said, sure, man, we'll do it. Let's put on these free event. And, and it's weird when you hear free events, because you always think that there's a gimmick, right? Because you hear, every time you hear free event, you're like, just, because of course there's, not all, but some people have maybe tarnished free events. So I think all these people that are going to be sharing this information, it's going to be incredible. I had a couple things that I wanted to share before, because of course, we were talking earlier about the 3 issues that were happening globally, and I never got to talk about the other 2 issues, but I know that these are going to be important topics. So even the teachers and the speakers and teachers / whatever we call these awesome humans that are watching now, we had talked earlier about the separation anxiety. I mean, that's a huge concern for pet parents, right? But if you're watching, there's going to be probably more questions that are going to be coming this way. And so maybe something that these speakers can mull over tonight when they're sitting down in bed to help address some of these issues. This is a big one, and that's why I'm excited about this nutrition section. So one of the biggest issues right now that's happening during, this pandemic is obesity. Would you believe? So statistically speaking, right now, we know that dogs are very close to being 60% obese, and cats are just a few percentage points behind them for being overweight or obese. And this is a global issue. The New York Times had posted on Twitter that the extinction of the healthy pet is near. Can you imagine that? The extinction of the healthy dog and the healthy cat is near, because you're 60%. We just surpassed not being healthy anymore, and which means there's only 40% of the healthy pets on the planet. And as those statistics escalate now because of COVID, according to the New York Post, Banfield Hospitals, one of the largest franchises in the United States, found that about 33% of pets, and that's aside from the ones that are already overweight or obese, have beefed up since the lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
right?
a question in the nutrition part of that.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be huge, right? Because we're all guilty of it. We all feed a lot, especially in these times. I know I've put on some weight. I am not one to talk. I know, like, when this pandemic was starting, I was like, oh my God, I got to eat all of the chips in the house. I've got to eat all of the chocolate bars. I got to eat everything in case there's no more food and I can't go to the grocery store. So I'll just put on like 150 pounds and then just hibernate under this wooden table here until I get better. But really, it is an issue. And one of the things that hopefully people can address in this is exercise. We don't talk about exercise very much, and I know it's hard. You have some people in some countries around the world right now that can't even leave their homes, right? So they're kind of stuck in these situations, not knowing exactly what to do. So tomorrow, very pumped, very excited. Here, there are some benefits, though, according to researchers right now during this pandemic, that 84% of people say that they are more attuned to their pet's health now than they've ever been, because they've been with their pets for so long. And that 38 people say that their pets are more happy now, 38%.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not all doom and gloom, right? Because you have incredible people like yourself where you're stuck at home with your pets and your pets are like, yes, this is so awesome, right? And 65% of people are saying that their pets are actually showing more affection towards them than they ever have. So those are some pretty cool statistics that are there. And last but not least, 47% of owners have vowed to spend more time with their pets now because they've been at home more. Because I know that some people have those jobs 9 to 5. They may have like crates where they got to put they have to put their pets from 9 to 5 in those crates. They come home, they're exhausted. They let the pet out for like a few hours. He's like jumping up against the walls. And they didn't realize. And now they kind of realize. So 47% want to spend more time at home. So cool statistic. But yes, so for all those incredible speakers, this is an important one. 33% jump in our pets globally around the world have put on weight. And then last but not least, this one was a big one. Now, this is an old headline, but I was speaking to a couple scientists, North Carolina State, and Dr. Karen Becker and I have interviewed a few scientists in the past that are addressing a problem that's happening now. So North Carolina State is doing this massive study to see what is happening right now if pets are living in a more toxic environment because they are at home more. People are using more cleaners because everybody's worried. So everybody's using whatever they can to sanitize their homes. What you spray in the air must come down. So your pets are walking through that constantly. Air fresheners. Air freshener sales have gone through the roof because like maybe stinky kids are home. The area stinks, whatever the case may be, people can't get out. I know I blamed it on children. I apologize to all the children around the world. I'm sure all the children around the world are not stinky, but there are some stinky kids. Like it's just a thing. But that being said, air freshener sales have gone through the roof, right? And with that, I mean, look at these studies. This one's crazy. So this comes out of physics.org. Flame retardant items in the house may cause hyperthyroidism in cats. Now, for my cat people out there, in 1980, Julie, it was 1 in 200 cats that had hyperthyroidism. And today it's 1 in 10. A massive jump and spike. And when they asked the scientists, why they thought it could be multifactorial, of course, but one of the reasons that they believe is you're spending more time at home now with your pets. Your couch that you don't know about is sprayed with all the fire retardant sprays in your cushions, your bed. I was talking this morning with Dr. Karen Becker and our science writer. We were talking about how costly it is to buy organic bedding for your pets, or like an organic couch. Like a bed, my BFF Kristen Loberg was telling me that if you want to buy an organic bed to remove those chemicals, it was like $50,000 for an organic bed. So these animals are now spending more time at home with their of course their pet parents. People are sitting on the couch more, and they believe that these chemicals that are embedded in these products or furnitures, our pets are absorbing those. So whether it's air fresheners, scented candles, fire retardant products in the house, and it is escalating hyperthyroidism in our pets. And so the advice when I was talking to the scientists was to put a barrier between, you might not know that, on your couch and where your pet lies on, to help protect them. And or of course your cleaning products that you're using in your home, be very careful with the cleaning products. So those are 3 major headlines right now that scientists are very concerned with. You have obesity, you have home toxins, the escalation of home toxins, and of course, separation anxiety. So I know these will all be addressed this weekend.
Yeah, they will. Yep, we talk about all of them, and hand sanitizers, and when someone was saying that when agility starts opening up, they have to do everything with Lysol. And Lysol is like so toxic. Yeah, all the questions are going to be addressed tomorrow.
Yeah. So there you go. There you have it. Now we just hit the 45-minute mark, and I want to be able to give my tip. Then I also I got 3 more things on my agenda here.
Right.
I've got I'll let you pick. I got my tip, my tip of the event, and we have to talk about the charity Pause for Change that you so graciously are donating to, and then of course this secret magazine that we're about to talk about. So go ahead, pick the topic. What do you want to talk about for what of the 3 you want to start with?
I want you to talk about Pause for Change.
Okay. So, to all of you awesome pet parents, Peter Cincinnati, shout out to him. To all of you incredible pet parents that are out there. Just reading the comments. I shouldn't be creeping the comments, but I'm. And here's the thing. It's hard to see these comments. I don't ever use Zoom. I just always just use my app on my Facebook Live. They're so small. They're like the comments are like this big on the very bottom. You can't even read it. And it's like one comment. It's always cut off. I can get like 6 words, but I recognize all the beautiful people that are in the room. So there's been incredible pet parents all around the world that have been supporting a nonprofit, crazy, wacky idea I had with a bunch of people where we were like, what if we put together a nonprofit for the planet? What if we put together a nonprofit that none of us own? It's just for all the pet parents, and we're able to do the things that we want to do. Because when you want to test pet food, when you want to fact check something, when you want to build something, sadly, you need money. And I've never, everyone will tell you I have like the worst profit shame in the world. Anytime I just even, and you know this, every time I hear the word money, I go the other way because to me, it's a dark energy. To me, it can like taint things. I never solicit anybody for anything. And if I ever have to say, like, it kills me as a human being because I just want the information to be as pure as possible. Yeah. But we put together this nonprofit and there's a couple banners here, and hold on, I got a crazy sign over here.
Oh my God.
So this is my sign, Julie.
Oh, okay.
So look, so Pause for Change, as you can see right here, for the nonprofit, for people that don't know, okay, it has different sectors that we are trying to build right now. So the first one, and the one that's near and dear to me, is nonprofit hospitals. One of the biggest things that I've always wanted to do here in Canada, when you're sick, you know this, we can go to the doctors. When I was in Mexico, shout out to Mari Gari if she's in the room, when we were doing our TED Talks, we found hospitals in Mexico that if your pet was sick, you could take your pet to the hospital for free. Yep. And we were talking about this earlier in oncology when we were filming the dog cancer series. When you want to be able to take your pet to see an oncologist, just for like a random checkup and things that you have to, like a diagnosis, a checkup, a scan, it's like $5,000. So if we're able to put these nonprofits all around the world, people, like, pets deserve, everybody deserves to be able to go to a doctor and to be healed. Everybody deserves medical care. Everybody. And it sucks that if some people don't have money, they can't get that medical care. So the nonprofit that you are helping to support tonight with your free event, all of the team members at Pause for Change, we adore you guys, and thank you so much for Julie, for putting this event, for sponsoring Pause for Change. We do got a couple other initiatives, knowyourpetfood.org, where, you know, so many people around the world donated, and they selected their like top 6 of the most popular selling pet foods in the world that we ran an analysis on. You know, we found some of the foods where the manufacturers, 50% of the ingredients were not in the bags that were written on the label. And we were able to contact those manufacturers and say, we need you to be better. We didn't do these studies. These are pet parents around the world that are concerned with the foods that they're feeding their pets, and they have the right, man, to know what's going on in that bag. So everybody around the world got together for that initiative. And tonight, I want to announce a brand new initiative that my incredible admin team, Renee, Shayna, Anthony, and a whole bunch of other people, Mark Lewis, B. Adams, so many people, always people have asked, I can't find studies, or my veterinarian is telling me, where's the research? Or everybody wants to know where the studies are when it comes to fresh feeding, raw feeding, whole life feeding, right? If you want to find a study for ultra processed food, okay, but trying to find pet food research is so friggin' hard. There's 1 million studies a year that are published on PubMed. Like, what was it? Somebody told me the other day, it was 3 studies a minute that come out on PubMed. Like, you can never keep up, man, because it's just constant studies. So we've categorized all of the studies in the world that are pertaining to pets and fresh foods, and we put them in a giant library resource for the entire world, for the public, for all the future vet kids, for all you scientists that actually have new studies and you want these to be categorized somewhere. They can reach out to us. We're going to put all the studies in this library called the petfoodstudies.com
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody. So now anyone in the world, any veterinarian, any young scientist, anybody that's looking for research, they want to say, here, man, here's the data, a free resource for the entire planet. So.
Okay. That was
okay,
like so,
so
incredible. And then you get up and it's like everybody just starts laughing.
I don't know what you're talking about. So thank you for supporting Pause for Change. Thank you for everybody who supports Not for Pause for Change. Thank you for all the people that are attending here and all the other things that we do to support this. You guys are awesome. I will I never want to heckle anybody. I never want to ask anybody for anything. And everybody has just stepped up and been part of this global worldwide initiative. And Julie, on behalf of us and everyone at Pause for Change, we love you and thank you for making this a charity event for Pause for Change. Okay, that's out of the way now. Now we have two last things. We have Rodney's tip and we have this secret magazine. What do you want to talk about?
What does everybody else want to hear?
Secret. What do you guys want to hear? First comment I see on the bottom: secret magazine or Rodney's tip.
Oh,
I see magazine. Magazine. Okay, go. We'll save Rodney's tip for the end.
Going back.
So Julie, I know this is like me foreshadowing, like me acting like this is big major secret. So we've been talking a little bit about this. You haven't told me everything because you told me that you were going to share all of that information tonight for everybody that's watching. Mm-hmm. But tell me about this magazine idea that you've been mulling over.
It's not complicated. It's just when I reached out to everybody, just like you said, I got so many people calling me, emailing me, we want to be part of this event. This event, I'm not kidding, this event could have been 2 weeks long. For the amount of people that wanted to be part of it, it could have just gone on forever. So what we decided, my team, was we have to be able to, like, you should see the stuff that people are wanting to help, like about stress and amazing articles and whatever. So I had put together something a long time ago called The Science of Nature. And because I believe that there's so many different kinds of research. I'm doing a cancer research, you know that. And I had so many questions behind this cancer research. I was like, but I want to understand this and I want to understand that. And but what happens here and what happens there? And science has to be, or research has to be very much in a box for peer reviews and all that kind of stuff. But I also feel that there's another part of science and research that really is nature-based, right? It's what we see. It's what we've learned. It's wisdom. It's all kinds of stuff. So I wanted to put it together, a magazine that incorporates science research, science nature, the science of nature. So not nature being shoved into science, but the actual science of nature. So we thought, okay, what better way to kick off this magazine other with all of the articles. I think we had 47 other amazing doctors and that wanted to be part of this. So we have like 47 articles that are going to go into this magazine that's going out to every single person that registered, because people were just pouring their hearts out, and that's going to be the first edition of the magazine. It's all the people that we just didn't have room for that want to help.
That, I mean, what an awesome gift. I feel, like Oprah, magazine for you and a magazine for you. And that is awesome. And I know that it's going, there's, like you say, 47 incredible like doctors with more information. So there you go. There's the incredible, and Julie, is this going to be something that you think could be long-term, or are we going to see a one and done?
It's going to be long-term. I've talked to Karen Karen and I are always talking about these like incredible things that we've heard about, like I've always wanted to talk about the study about pigeons, right? Because I love pigeons. Everybody thinks that pigeons are just a mess and whatever. And how pigeons, they've proven pigeons can detect breast cancer faster in radiographs than a board-certified radiologist.
Really? I had no idea.
They can pinpoint the tumor before it's the size of a radiologist being able to see it with an eye. Like
Holy.
just stuff like that. Like I just find that, so it's going to have tips on environmental stuff. Like, Rodney, exactly what you just said. Like what kind of cloth should, what can we do? We can't afford a $25,000 couch that doesn't have any fabric, like any sprayed stuff on it. What's our alternative? So we're going to be putting out tips for alternatives with that. We're going to be putting out stuff for people, for horses, for the environment, for dogs, for cats. It's going to be an all-encompassing magazine for family.
That's
And
awesome,
family
man.
to me is human and non-human. So
That's
that's
awesome. That's awesome. That is incredible. And we I'm sure, and I speak on behalf of like a zillion pet parents, like everybody's stoked for that. And I'm sure you're probably, after you might have 47 contributors right now. Tomorrow morning, you're going to have another like 700 contributors. That, there's just so many people, awesome people out there that want to share information that just like they're just fiending just to sort of release it into something. And it's, I just know personally how many people send me studies all the time, and people are texting me and sending me like envelopes. There's like always like things that people are sending me to just sharing information. And that is
that's what this is about.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with 3
Okay.
minutes left on the buzzer, my Rodney tip. So I had to come up with a tip for something pertaining to stress for my cat people. And I'm sure this is for horses too. I don't have any data on that, but I know that horses probably have melanopsin receptors. And so here is my tip to sign this off for everybody. Now, this is something that was shocking to me. I had no idea. This topic, for those of you who follow me, have probably already heard this, a few times, but there's a little bit more here that I haven't highlighted on. Dr. Karen Becker and I, of course, are working on a book called The Forever Dog, and we're like really going deep into it. But the Nobel Prize a few years ago, Julie, was won on the term called circadian rhythm. And circadian rhythm is like this new field of research. It's not so new, but it's new to the world because Dr. Sachin Panda, who's this incredible scientist from the Salk Institute where we flew down, he gave us like 6 or 7 tips. And there's some things that we're working on now, and there's some things that we want to elaborate more on now. But one of the tips that I thought was really important for what's going on right now is he was talking to us about something called junk lighting. Now, junk lighting has to do with like a polarity, like they call it the K value of a light in your house. Believe it or not, and NASA, we had talked about this earlier, NASA has jumped on this, Apple has jumped on this, they've changed the iPhones now, so like now like when I go onto my iPhone, it shifts into like a different color, it goes into a true tone. What scientists found was that, believe it or not, some of the bulbs in your home are an old style bulb that has been discontinued, or you could be running these energy efficient bulbs that are supposed to last like 100 years. And what they had done was they had stripped the red color from a lot of the bulbs, and they come in at a K value. So for instance, this bulb that I have in my hand, like when you look at a light, you see right down here on the bottom, it'll tell you, it says 5,000 K. So the higher the value of K, the more blue there is into the light. So I purposely have 2 lights that are shining behind me. This one up here is 5,000 K. So do you see kind of how blue he is? He's kind of like whitish. And that guy down there in the bottom corner, he's 2,700 K. So he's almost half that value lower. He's got more red in him. According to scientists, for your dogs, for your cats, and for yourself, when you are streaming a blue light, meaning you have a higher white value in your light, this disrupts your entire hormonal system. So your eyes, which are called melanopsin receptors, will pick up on that blue light, and it can actually signal your body to stop churning out what's called melatonin. And we need melatonin, for people that are familiar, at night at around like 5 or 6 o'clock, where you should cut off all of your calories, which is a whole nother topic. Your body starts to secrete melatonin, right? Believe it or not, the average female consumes her last glass of wine. I'm sure so many females want to punch me in the face at around 9 o'clock at night. But when you're consuming those calories, the second that you put a calorie into your mouth, it tells your body to stop releasing melatonin. And that's why people have these terrible sleeps when they consume these calories very late. Well, with lighting, aka junk lighting, if you have these blue lights in your home, they trigger the melanopsin receptor in your eyes at night to stop releasing melatonin. So some people in their televisions and their TV sets are churning out these blue lights. My dogs who are beside me, when they pick up on these blue lights because I'm sitting in a blue light atmosphere, or I have a dog bed over there in the corner, there used to be a light, but I had to remove the light bulb, which gave off a blue light. Because when I'm filming, you can see behind me, it's blue lighting, because blue lighting is awesome for filming. It's brighter for homes, people that want brighter homes. So people really don't like that red lighting. But the problem with it is, after 5 o'clock, when the sun is supposed to set, or 6 o'clock, it tells your dog's body, your cat's body, triggers the eye system to stop secreting melatonin, therefore disrupting their sleep pattern. And by disrupting their sleep pattern, it actually can start creating diseases. It can actually start because when your body stops secreting melatonin, it tells your body to stop also burning fat. And so your animals can unknowingly start putting on weight. The body starts churning out all of these free radicals. And you can actually shorten the lifespan of your dogs and cats just with what they call junk lighting. They won the Nobel Prize on this. So my tip for everybody that's watching, believe it or not, lights can also affect stress. So if you're sitting in a blue light environment, or if you're streaming blue lights at night, it can actually not only affect your day now. Dr. Sachin Panda said it to me. What you do the night before affects the future, affects the next day. So if you're sitting in emitting blue lights, the next day could be very rough for you. So I know now in schools, they've changed all lighting systems. They brought the red lights back. In NASA, in outer space, in the spaceships, all red lighting. Your iPhones now secrete red lighting. So when you're out buying bulbs, or when you want to look around the bulbs in your house, look for the K value. So here you see 5,000 K right down there on the very bottom. Now, and shout out to Dr. Karen Becker when she came over here, Julie, she actually forced me to change the light bulbs. And she was like, I will not come to Canada and film in Canada if you don't change those damn light bulbs. So now when I buy bulbs, check it out here, right there on the very bottom, 2,700 K. It's got the red back into it, doesn't disrupt my melatonin at night. And in fact, you can even get into 40-watt red bulbs in the home. So if you know that you're going to be working by your computer at night and you've got your dogs and your cats beside you and you don't want to disrupt their sleeping pattern, you fire off these red bulbs. So
amazing.
The last thing you can do, which is something, if you can't get a hold of a whole bunch of bulbs, we were talking to a couple of researchers from Hungary, and they are doing a study now on what's called sleep spikes. Sleep spikes is like putting these little straps on dogs' brains in Hungary, and they're with lighting, they can see the disruption. It was called sleep spikes. So they can watch your dog have a very disrupted sleep, or your cat a very disrupted sleep at night because of emitting this. So these are the ways that they're sort of validating it. So for a lot of you out there, another thing that you can do, let's say hypothetically, you're strapped for cash and you don't want to go out and buy a whole bunch of brand new bulbs. This is kind of Dr. Karen Becker's hack. She's put these all over my home. These are $10 dimmer switches that you can get, Jules, on like Amazon and on eBay. I think it's like 2 for $10, and they got these tiny little, see these little dimmers here? And so you can adjust the lighting in your home. You can dim everything at around 5 o'clock, and you can help extend the lifespan of your pets with preventing junk lighting. I did that on purpose.
Yeah, right. Well, that's awesome.
All right.
Little things like that. It making such a massive difference. I've always hated those lights. I couldn't stand those blue lights right from the beginning. I remember when my brother put them in our farmhouse, and I came home for the first time, to visit my mom, and I walked in the farmhouse, and it's like, what the hell? I hated them. It's like, get these out of here. And I was like taking them out and trying to, but back then I couldn't find normal lights in the store.
Right.
Everything was replaced by those yucky ones, those ones.
Yeah, and they've all been discontinued now. Believe it or not, you can't go in shops. You can't find them. They're used in hospitals a lot, or for a lot of shift workers. That's another thing I feel really bad about. I don't even want to talk about that. But if you ever have the opportunity to Google search Dr. Sachin Panda. He's done a lot of TED Talks. He's a very brilliant scientist. They're doing a lot of research now on shift workers. And believe it or not, shift working can actually disrupt your pet's overall lifespan as well. they said that shift working was one, and I know that people have no choice, and I don't like to talk about it a lot, but one of the biggest carcinogens known to man is shift working, because you're disrupting your sleeping pattern. You're up like from 1 a.m. to like 5 a.m. People like that are shift workers actually have shorter lifespans. I mean, it's terrible, but the reality is they use these bulbs for shift workers because, of course, when it emits that blue lighting, it tells the body to stop secreting melatonin in hospitals and in wherever people work. They don't get tired. You don't get tired. And so many people have these like sitting above their dog beds, or, you know, or where their dogs could be napping, and they're poor dogs. I mean, you know, you'll see sometimes cats put their paws over their eyes, right? Block out some of that blue light. So that is my tip. Julie, I am very excited about this weekend. I'm very excited for all of these guests that are going to be here. This is going to be an incredible weekend for all of you that are watching. If you're wondering about my outfit, I told you it is like midnight here, man. So like literally I'm just going to go straight to bed. But I am so very thankful that you're putting this together. You guys are going to see more of Julie all day tomorrow, and her incredible admin team. Steph and Kaylin and all the incredible people that are putting this event for you, and all the people that are behind the scenes. I know there's so many people right now behind the scenes to put this event together. So do you got some final words, or do you want me to close it down for you?
Just thank you. Thank you for promoting this, and thank you for just showing up like you always do.
To all of you that are watching, to all of you, I hope you have an incredible night, a good night, wherever it is, whatever time zone that you're on. We'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys are incredible pet parents. Thank you all so much for tuning in and listening to me ramble forever about all of these things. And I am humbled that I was invited and got to open it up for everybody tonight. And we'll see you guys again.
See you soon.
You know what the best part about this is? I have no control over the camera, so I don't know if Steph
right.
hits stop or I just sit here like this.
I might too. Stephanie, can you stop?